and everyone else not sitting on a cushion, today, you find yourselves equals, for you are all equally blessed. For I have the pride, the privilege, nay, the pleasure to introduce to you a girl so bold she is admired by many, a girl so astounding words cannot begin to express her character. So without further gilding the lily, and with no ado, we present to you a child of God and our sister,
and my best friend, your 2012-2013 Colorado State FFA Secretary.
As you meet my niece, Rebecca McCaleb.
my heart beating faster and faster as the seconds drew near. Loud voices and laughter echoed throughout the room, almost drowning out the pounding going on inside me. Almost. Then, to my horror, my name was called. As I made my way onto the stage, everything stopped. Hundreds of eyes were staring at me, judging every step I took. The pounding in my chest was soon drowned out by the voice in my head. You can't do this. You're going to mess up. They are going to hate it, and you will never live up to your dreams. Don't do this, Rebecca. This is a mistake, and you know it. In the faint distance, I heard the music start to play. It was the summer of 2009, and I was attending the Colorado State FFA convention in Greeley, Colorado. The one night I was anxiously awaiting was in progress. The night of the talent show. The moment I was waiting for. But when I made it onto the stage, everything stopped. I could either take the risk of getting booed off the stage, or maybe, just maybe, I could do this. I chose to risk it, and that moment became one of the most memorable of my entire high school career. It was then that I realized I wouldn't allow fear to define my actions. FFA members, how many times have we allowed ourselves not to do something based just on the fact that we might fail? We cannot allow fear to define what we do in our lives. Don't ever let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Omar Bradley once said, "This is as true in everyday life as it is in battle. We are given one life, and the decision is ours, whether to wait for circumstances to make up our minds, or whether to act, and in acting, to live." Bethany Hamilton is an inspiration to millions of people across the globe. Because of her incredible story of faith, hope, determination, and never giving up, no matter her circumstances. She never saw the 14-foot tiger shark coming her way. But what Bethany Hamilton did see was the water around her turn blood red. She saw the bite mark in her surfboard, and she even saw the stub where her left arm had once been. No one would blame the Hawaiian teenager who barely survived the shark attack if she never set foot in the ocean again. After surgeons closed her wounds, Bethany tried to imagine life without surfing. And many people advised her that she would never be able to surf again. Yet she couldn't let go of her dream of becoming a professional surfer. Only 1 month after the attack, Bethany returned to the water. At first, she toppled from her surfboard again and again, but she remained optimistic and never gave up on her dream. Bethany never allowed her circumstances to define what she was going to do with her life. She battles every day of living life without one arm, but she has never let that stop her of living life how she wanted to live it. If a 13-year-old girl could survive a shark attack, lose one arm, and define what it truly means to never give up, what could you do? When one of my best friends, Lance, decided not to wear his seatbelt on September 4th, 2010, his choice impacted everyone he knew. And that decision changed my life forever. The sound of my dad's radio interrupted the sound of chairs clanging and footsteps inside the church. It was a sound all too familiar to my family, and needless to say, we knew the drill. A one-car rollover, it had said. One ejected person. My heart skipped a beat knowing that this was someone I knew. I was given the choice to go or stay. And I chose to go because sometimes in life, sacrifices must be made to help others. But we were too late. Lance was dead. Growing up, I was a carefree person who had never had a negative outlook on life. I was blessed to have an abundant amount of family and friends, and I thought that nothing would ever change that. I was smart, popular, and breezed through obstacles in my path without a second glance. The months following Lance's accident were the toughest of my entire life. Not only was I mourning the loss of a close friend, but my mind tried helplessly to block out the memories of that day. I developed post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. My grades began to slip, and for the first time in my life, I shut everything and everyone out. That one moment had begun to define who I was and changed every aspect of my life. Why? Because I let it. When I lost Lance, I also lost a part of who I was. I longed for something to make me whole again, to fill the void that was lost. But enough was enough. It was time I stopped letting one bad thing change my entire life. It was time I stopped making excuses for my situation, and it was time to start trying to make a difference. FFA members, every decision you make will have a consequence. And sometimes those decisions will not only impact your life, but the lives of others around you. Helen Keller once said, "Character cannot be established in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved." Fear of failure is something we all face. We all want to achieve greatness, but are afraid of falling short of our expectations, and instead of taking the risk of failure at the possibility of success, we don't even try at all. The first time I sang at state convention, I almost allowed my fears to keep me from my dreams. We cannot allow our fears to define our actions. Just like how we cannot allow fear to define our actions, we must also rise up to life's challenges and never give up. Bethany Hamilton never allowed her circumstances to define what she was going to do with her life. Although she suffered through a shark attack, lost her arm, and almost lost her life, she never let that get in the way of her dreams. When one of my best friends, Lance, decided not to wear his seatbelt, I allowed a traumatic experience to define who I was and what I did. FFA members, life is not easy. Every single one of you will have challenges and obstacles that you will be faced with. Maybe some of you are even facing them today. Whether it be losing someone you love, your parents separating, bullying, peer pressure, you can't let the bad things in life be an excuse for who you become. FFA members, it's time you take risks and stop allowing fear to define your actions. It's time to define who you are by never giving up, never surrendering, and to rise up against the odds. It's time to become who you were meant to be and stop allowing excuses to keep you from taking action. It's time to stop letting moments define you, but to choose instead to define the moments.
Bekka, thank you for being a part of our FFA family. We love you and we so appreciate your kindness, enthusiasm, humor, and initiative. It is an honor to present you with your retiring officer plaque. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2012-2013 State Secretary, Bekka McCaleb.